Muhammad's initiatives, my motive. I won the trust of many young people in my hometown and helped them prepare for 2 wars or jihads. The first jihad was against poverty, and the second against Israel in the West, especially America. Muhammad also had 2 jihadi initiatives. These 2 jihadi steps were his main approaches to the Islamization of the societies around him. He promised his followers a prosperous life and planned to provide for their needs so they would follow him. With mostly poor followers, Muhammad was unable to establish a strong army for Islam. He decided to use wives, concubines, and slaves as the center of his plans for the spread of Islam. He needed great wealth for his plans, which was more important to him than anything else. So he legalized the looting of non-Muslims since there was no other income source for him. He and his small community began looting the caravans of pagan Meccans and thus obtained great wealth. His community prospered, and he was able to hire more followers as a result. His number of soldiers grew, and he was able to establish a strong army. Without this army, he could not have invaded the Jewish tribes in Medina or the pagans in Mecca, putting an end to their history on the peninsula of Arabia. We also needed to follow his footsteps as followers of Muhammad in Iran and do the same with zealous Iranian Muslims, but with contemporary tools. We didn't need to loot non-Muslims. Our country sat on rich oil fields and had great income from selling oil. We believed we could strengthen our followers with oil money, gaining access to most advanced weapons and dominate other societies. However, the Ayatollah Khomeini and his surrounding mullahs did not have the same politico-religious mind as Muhammad. Khomeini ignored his Iranian followers while supporting Syria, Hezbollah, and Lebanon, and the Palestinians against Israel. He did not see a need to strengthen his Iranian followers first. I knew he would not be able to quicken the destruction of Israel by ignoring his own nation. Instead, he would rather be the cause of hatred and bloodshed in his own country. Iran was not a radical Islamic country when the Ayatollah Khomeini became the supreme leader. The revolution's purpose was not to turn Iranians into radical Muslims. Many Iranians who rejected the rule of the Shah were nominal Muslims. The revolutionaries desired freedom and economic and political justice. Their minds were far from the idea that Islam had to be carried worldwide or that Israel and America had to be destroyed. Only the Ayatollah Khomeini and his very close companions knew that they had to change the direction of the revolution secretly and progressively. Even the real followers of the Ayatollah Khomeini, including myself, who only made up less than 2% of the entire Iranian community, did not know his plan for the future. What we heard clearly was that the Shah had to leave Iran. As long as the Shah remained, people could not have their rights. It was later that we were gradually persuaded that Islam must rule. So we, Khomeini's followers, needed to spend money and find many followers. Without committed followers, we would not be able to reach our goal of destroying America or Israel. Khomeini obtained power but did not have a long-term plan for Islam. Not only did he not have a plan, he did not have the capability to develop one. His initiatives became very random. He invaded the American embassy in Tehran without knowing that Iranians were not ready to fight America yet. Like the Ayatollah Khomeini and his surrounding mullahs, we also hated America and Israel. Hostility to America and Israel was the central pillar of radical Muslim goals. But we wanted to have a strong Muslim nation first, establishing a strong Islamic economy like Saudi Arabia, and then we would start our international mission. That would prepare the ground for us to employ cultural, political, and economic jihadists to penetrate and undermine Western values from inside and destroy them. We believed Israel could not be captured without paralyzing America, and Israel without America would be like a piece of bread for us to swallow.